America, what it is, what it is, what it is. Well, what I'm seeing is a lot of people returning to America from living overseas. And once they come back to America, just for that 1 minute or that one moment to, like reattach with friends and family or individuals that you just seem to met along the way. Or maybe when you were away, you probably met somebody like over while you were overseas and decided to connect with them in the United States. But here's what it is. America is just not the same anymore. The way it's not the way people want it to be. Like certain things that happen in America that's making people feel this type of way was COVID. When COVID came, it was like it shot like a bullet in everyone's chest. So when you felt like you got shot, that was a feeling that you don't want to feel at all. So it just seems like now people are traveling here and there to fill up the emptiness of what had happened when a COVID had came to America and partially like almost everywhere overseas as well. So if you're an individual that seems like you feel like America isn't for you, then a lot of people suggest that you travel. But you can't always keep running from what had happened in our economy. And that was very devastating when COVID did come to America and every other place. A lot of people died. A lot of people lost their family and friends and, you know, co-workers that they worked with. And that's not the only thing, and that's not the only reason why a lot of individuals are leaving America. Basically, like everybody else, I voted too, but I'm not going to say who I voted for because, what's going on. Previously, there's Republicans attacking. Well, actually, I'm not going to say Republicans because I haven't seen that situation, but they're saying that there's a lot of people that do not like Republicans, whoever voted for Trump, and they're out attacking, which that was also a message that was from also the Angry Prepper in New York. So if you want to check that YouTube out, you can. But the only thing is about this situation, what I'm trying to say is I know it's a lot of emptiness inside. And over the years that had passed away, everything has a way of devastating America, or the new thing is that devastating your American dream. Like everything that you want to do in America or what you were supposed to do while you was living in America, some way got tarnished in some type of way. So even though the new year of 2025 is coming, it's time to prepare for the new year 2025 and hope that whatever happened in the past don't come in this new year and present. So to all the young adults that still out there trying to find, jobs and stuff like that, don't give up. Sometimes you have to do the opposite, okay? Sometimes people travel first and then they end up going to school after that. or they'll go to school, get the education that they need, and then travel. So sometimes you have to, do what works for you. And but the smartest thing about this is it's okay if you get the education first. So that way your finance, if you get the job, if you graduate, that the money will be there for you to travel instead of a lot of things that a lot of individuals are doing. They're working 5 or 6 jobs, and then like by the time they save up to go on their very, very first vacation, they're like past 70 years old or something like that, or really, really old, or near their retirement before they even actually took their very first vacation. And people want to know how Shaniki feels about who's president. Well, I just wanted to say that it really didn't matter if who was president in the White House, because for the simple fact that the way things were going in our economy, both of them seemed like they were in danger. As far as like, there's some people who liked the Republicans, and there's some people that liked the Democrats. And a lot of Democrats um, that used to be Democrats all changed and went to Republicans. And then there's a lot of people who are Republican changed and went to Democrat. And then there's a lot of people who didn't vote and all went ahead and just been independent. So it's good that you voted, because however you feel however you feel about this economy, it it does matter right now, because the economy is shot. Like it like the if you had a bulletproof vest on, basically they just shot right through that bulletproof vest and just left like little pieces of thread. That's basically what America is looking like. And like everywhere you go, you have to be quiet. I mean, well, not quiet. Everywhere you go, it's you have to be careful. And like everywhere you go, I know it seems like it's a ghost town. And yeah, it's true. Just about everywhere you go, it seems like a ghost town. Like you can be in the city, then you'll drive up like a couple of miles, then all of a sudden it's like everybody disappeared out of that community and like moved towards the city. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. So, and the homeless rate is really high. And so it's like, even though we have Trump in office, he is trying to handle some of the things that's supposed to be going on in our economy. And probably even if Harris was in office, some of the things probably would have been taken care of too. But we don't know until they're in office. And the one that's in office is Trump. So, nope, I'm not mad about any one of them that end up being in the White House. Um, I'd rather have somebody in the White House than not have no one at all. Because there's a lot of times when, you feel like people try to overthrow our government, and then when there's no one there, uh, the economy gets way out of control. And so it's good to have somebody in the White House. Doesn't matter what color you are, in my opinion. Doesn't matter if you're black, blue, white, or any other color, as long as there's someone there, to address the people on what is needed to be done in our economy. And yes, people are independent, and you probably feel like, oh, we don't need nobody there. We can independently do what we want. but there has to be some guidance, someone to direct, someone to, put everything in place. And so it's not like we couldn't, like people couldn't do it by themselves, but the way our world is, we have to have someone in a place, to be like a director and be like, okay, this goes over here and this goes over here and this goes over here. And so, like, I know that these are sad moments for a lot of people, and I'm not sure what's been going on really, really out there. I just been one of them individuals who just stay out the way. Okay, I just stay out the way. If I know that I'm not supposed to be there, I'm not going to be there. And lately, like most everybody else, that who's able to make it a work, and you know in the hopes that they don't get robbed or anything bad happen to them while they're at work. Yeah, that is a blessing to be at work and not have to worry about anything happening to you. But there's a lot of states where a lot of individuals go to work, and every time that they go to work, just leaving out their house, they have to think about, is this my last day here? And especially the things that's going on in New York City. I mean, that's wild out there for a lot of people to be going through that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who have business out there and want to, do the things that they want to do in that state, but because it's so like really bad at this time, they can't do what they need to do to make sure the economy keeps moving, as well as like, if you have young children or you have young adults that's about to go to college or go to school, and constantly your parents, they're probably at work and worried about you because of all the crime and stuff that is going on. And a lot of people are like, dang, I walk outside and I don't see no one. If, I mean, if the stuff that's going on out there is going on like they say is going on, then a lot of people will probably stay in and they won't go outside unless they have to, you know? And I mean, you have to think about your safety. And yeah, because it has become very dangerous in the United States. And so people are leaving their place of home, which is United States or anywhere, and going to where they feel safe. Like there's people overseas that came to the United States running from whatever they were running from, and came to the United States because they felt like our government was probably strong enough to protect them and help them out of their situation. And so we have a lot of immigrants here that are documented, and so they deserve to be here, as much as everybody else, especially if they have their documents. Now, those who are undocumented, I mean, if you just have something to show who you are or to identify who you are, then yeah, maybe the United States could work with you some type of way. But if you're here just to, destroy everything about America, and then how can America help those who really actually need help if you coming into the United States and just tearing up stuff? Like everything that was tore up in New York, that's somebody's business, that's somebody's home, that's somebody's school that they might have to report to go to, somebody's college. And especially if people that are immigrants that are documented are might be one of the individuals that might have to go to that school that was damaged or tore up and everything else. And you gotta fail to realize, America is taking care of a lot of people from all over the place, like all over the globe. We're taking care of a lot of people. There's people who even tried to flee from Russia to Alaska when they was drafting the men to fight the war in Russia. And so basically, yeah, I failed to realize America, you have to give it to America and the people that's been set in place, especially people in organizations like New York Cares, which is in New York, or American Red Cross, or Salvation Army. A lot of organizations, that are set in place to help individuals, public assistance that give you your assistance, your benefits that you need to help you until you can get off your feet and get a job to be able to afford to pay for your own rent, because they help with a lot of stuff. They help with food stamps, they help with rent, they help with heat, they help with a lot of stuff, utilities, phone, you just name it all. But they do a lot. So you have to give it to those individuals who's sitting in place and trying to be patient. And every day when they come to work, they're praying and hoping that they can be able to help the next person that need help without getting hurt trying to get to their job. So I like to say that like, how do I feel about a lot of things that I'm just basically elaborating on? Like, how I feel about who the president is in the White House? I'm okay. I'm okay because I still manage when whoever's in the White House. I still try, like I tell everybody, and I play that song, "Take Care of Yourself." It doesn't matter who our president is. You still have to take care of yourself. Okay, take care of yourself. Y'all know the song that I play on my little Facebook. And so basically, well, and there's some other things. How do I feel about how our economy is going? Yeah, I feel like a lot of things should have been in place a little better for when the immigrants had came to the United States. But before they had came, we were already shorthanded in a lot of businesses. Not because the immigrants were coming or even the cartels, even when they came here, there was already a lot of businesses that were shorthanded with people because individuals decided to go a different direction. They felt like the 9 to 5 wasn't working for them. They felt like the money that they was making on the job wasn't enough to pay the rent. And so sometimes people feel like, okay, you know, it is all about budgeting. It depends, but it's like you can budget, but then next week all of a sudden now you got to pay the water bill, and then all of a sudden now you got to pay the heat. I'm talking about apartments that include all the utilities. Like all of a sudden now, you know, for example, like my apartments, they're making a decision on if we're going to be paying a water bill. So I'm like, okay, okay, it is what it is. Are we going to be paying utilities? And I'm like, okay, it is what it is. But I always look at it like if my budget doesn't match what they're going to be charging, then it's just time to leave. Or you can go back out there and get a job, but is that job going to pull you up? so you can make sure that you can make the money for to make sure that you're able to pay all these utilities, or is it going to pull you more down than where you're already at? Even if you leave housing, you know what I'm saying? Because this is really actually my first time actually being in this type of situation. Like, you still out, even when you're out there and you have a degree, which is can be disappointing for a lot of individuals, because you can get a good job, but most of it comes without a degree. There's a lot of jobs that you can get without a degree, but you have to have your high school diploma. But most of those jobs that they just ask you to have your high school diploma, they sometimes want you to have a little higher education, a little more of a degree. But we're not going to go into the degree stuff, because there's a lot of people that are that are very disappointed at this moment, because they getting their degrees, they're getting their education, like everybody can get their education, and they're finding that once they're not getting the job that they went to school in, or they're getting some job close to it, but it's not enough to pay what's going on in this economy. So individuals now stop arguing, and they just put their hands up in the air and said, okay, I've been through this life 50 million times, and it's just time for me to change it. So if you were a person that went overseas and you've been there quite a long time, and you happen to come back to the United States, and you're like, dang, over here's a ghost town. Where are the people at? Where is they? Basically, you don't see them, they left. Okay? If you don't see them, they basically left. Or they're hiding in their bunker until whatever is supposed to happen. But long as we have people in place to move the economy the way that we need the economy to move, then everything should run smooth. Now, as far as everybody that I know, or anybody that I know that moved overseas, from my understanding, they're not coming back. So don't look for them. If they're not coming back, they're not coming back. It's like all the stuff that happened over the years. It's like this emptiness that America is just not America like it used to be. Like, family is not family like they used to be, and like friends ain't friends like they used to be. Like back in the day, when you can go, like you can get off of work, and then like you and your family and friends and stuff will have a barbecue and stuff, and everything will run smoothly. Like, now it's like, where's the barbecue? No one's barbecuing no more, because now you have issues with food shortage. So you know how that roll. And so basically, it's like, and you know how people have a certain budget. So, if you have a family reunion or something, Monica and Johnny and all of them got to pay the $20, because Uncle Tom is trying to make sure everybody gets some food and stuff like that, and like everybody gets some food, but you might be the one that got to come in and pay to keep the food coming in, and you're like, okay, I'm cool, it's cool. As long as you told me ahead of time, I made sure I had our money, next time we have a family reunion, you know, and so, but seriously, it's getting like that, and so, like, everything is just not like that, like the way it used to be. Like, lost, people feel that emptiness in America is gone. It's gone. And so they're going here and here and here and there to fulfill what they miss, basically. And like I haven't left Alaska yet. I've been here for quite a long time, like 10 years. And like you want to ask me um how I feel about where I'm at. Well, I don't look at like the situation that I'm in unless it's a situation that's bad and I have to move. Okay? Cause like I can be in I feel like in my situation that I'm in, and I'm blessed that I'm not in situations where I have to be constantly dependent on the police and stuff like that. And I know there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the United States, and there's a lot of people who's taking risk every day to go to work and stuff like that. And I'm just blessed that I'm not in that situation. But if I end up being in that situation, I know how to, get up and move into a different direction, which I feel is safe. Sometimes people might not feel like your environment is safe because of the stuff that they go through. But if you're going through something in your environment, you should change it. And so it's like more like people, like a lot of people in this world, if you don't feel safe in your environment, if you feel like um where you live at isn't working for you, or you just don't like it or whatever, then move. Don't make somebody else move, because whatever's going on in your life, that might not be going on in their life. And it's constantly like, they might not be experiencing the same issues that you are experiencing in the world. So don't force somebody to move or go somewhere because experiences that you're going through, you know? And so when a person gets up and move, they know where it's safe to go to move. Every individual can pick a place, but anything can happen in a new place that, or a new environment that they move to. Um, Anything can happen. So there's a lot of people that has two homes. Like they live overseas, but they also live in the United States. You know, and you can have that, but you got to make sure just keep up with your place in the United States, and make sure whoever you if you have a house here and you decide to rent it out or something, make sure you can trust that person to take care of what you leave and to rent out to them. And so make sure everything is good. And so you go where you feel it, where your heart is at, where you feel happy, if you don't want to feel that emptiness, you go where you know that is good for you. And psychologists will tell you, you go where you feel happy, where you know that things are progressing for it to work for you. Okay, you got to concentrate on yourself at all times. Mental illness is a big problem in the United States. I'm thankful that I have not experienced that yet, and I'm not gonna say that I ever will, but I'm not gonna say that I will, but I'm not in that situation. So to those ones who are trying to work it out and trying to cope, and trying to um move forward in their life, yeah, maybe it would be better, sometimes to take a break from wherever you're at. Even if you have to go to the hotel, sometimes your apartment, you might be in your apartment a lot, and like sometimes your apartment, If your walls start talking to you, then you just say, okay, I need a break from my apartment, and go, treat yourself out to the hotel, and and get in a little jacuzzi, and take care of yourself. Take care of everything that you need to take care about yourself. Treat yourself out, because what I'm seeing in the United States is bad. There's a lot of individuals that's coming from the United States, and they have came through very harsh environments that I never in my life went through. And like sometimes you have to be very, you know, take considerate and respect, because it's like, what if you was in that same environment that they were in? Okay, you would want somebody to be there to support you, say something to help you in some type of direction. Now, far as if anybody want to know how I feel about how New York is handling things with the immigrants, I feel like New York, I lived there, and you doing pretty good, because for a state that has a huge amount of people, and then end up having a large amount of immigrants come in, you. I feel like you um, deserve the award for that, because that. I don't think any other state could do it like you. I lived in that state to the point where the public assistance line was wrapped around nearly the next block down, and especially when in Manhattan. Like it's literally out the door down the street. And I've been there to the point where I would go to like where they have like job fairs, and then the job fair line would be wrapped around nearly the next block, unless you sign up online and make a reserve to get in, to go ahead of the line, which half of some, like I think a whole bunch of times I did that, because you don't want to be wrapped around the block in the long line. But there has been one time where I actually stood in line, a very long line, and as soon as I got to the door, I was so thankful, because that was like the cutoff. Like that's it. We it's like about time to wrap this up. It's near closing time, but I give it to New York to try to make sure all those individuals get in, and get let the businesses know business get their resume and their cover letter. And so I give it to New York for being that state that to handle a large amount of people. If it was any other state, I don't know. I don't know. That's the only state I know that can handle that huge amount of people, including the people that's in that state, and still be fast paced. Be that fast paced. Yeah. Be that fast paced, and still like everyone still gets everything they need that day, especially if you're dealing with housing or public assistance or anything like that. And so, uh, as far as any other state, I don't think they would have been able to do it. No, not even Alaska. I don't think they could have pulled that off. No, no. But if they did get in that situation, I hope that they are equipped to do it. But out of all the states that I know of, New York seems to be the only state I know that can handle that huge amount of people like that. And I do feel like our government should back New York up. I feel like you support New York, especially when Eric he's basically transporting the immigrants here and here and there. It's not that he don't want you to stay. Or I mean, there are probably a lot of people that do want the immigrants to stay, but the it's like the resources is not really there to right now to like keep doing this daily. Because like I left YouTube videos before, and I said, and I told, I put information out there like, if you come into the United States, like meet United States halfway. So when your process comes, you know, when it comes for you to process in and to New York or any state that you choose, it's easy for you. You can it'll be faster. Like if they give you all the stuff that they say they're gonna give you, and then all of a sudden, in a couple of days you'll have your apartment, because it works fast, really fast, for the immigrants when they come to the United States, because they're in an environment, they don't know anybody. Some of them don't know anybody when they come to the United States. They're very vulnerable, and we got bad people everywhere. Some of the stuff that happened in Texas where they said like sex traffickers were just sitting there waiting for to take a victim, anybody, and then put them in that situation. And so basically, I just feel like with our borders, they should be a little more organized, because some people just all they know is when they leave their home, especially when it's something bad that might occur in their community. All they know is when they get to the border and they looking at the border, and all they know is a sign of relief, like they're hoping and praying that America has resources and things that they need to help them out of their situation that they are in. Some of them were in that situation. They looked at America like that. They look at America like that. And we should be a as the United States, the country that we are, we should be what we say. If you say you are the land of the rich, then you should be able to support what you put out. So if you say that immigrant immigrants can come here and they can get this benefits and get this type of help, America should be in place and have everything in place for that to happen for them. And the ones that are not document, try to figure out how to help these individuals, because you have to have a plan in place, because if you don't, this situation is going to keep on occurring and occurring and occurring. So now the question is, how do I feel about Trump talking to um, one of the leaders in Mexico? Well, Trump is a businessman. So I'm sure whatever business he talked with her about, the situation that happened with the immigrants coming over and the stuff that's dealing with the cartels and stuff like that, I'm sure he has a plan for that. But if you want my suggestion, like, don't send, if you have the cartels in the United States and you feel like as a lady, the lady that's in Mexico that's running things, and you feel like she needs, a, a like somebody to back her up, some help in that area, and it's okay to have some men in place when certain situations like that, because she is a woman, okay? And she is, in charge in a lot of stuff in Mexico. So I'm not, I mean, I'm sure he knows how to handle the situation, and I'm not going to elaborate on it. But if it was me, If I was the president of the United States, like I would have to if the cartels was in the president of the United States, and right now it seems like you're, capturing and you got them in place, I would kind of like, you would have to put them in an isolated, probably area away from Mexico. Somewhere you have to keep the balance and keep the same, I mean, stop the same situation from occurring. You can't send the bad people back to Mexico and then all of a sudden now all the people that live in Mexico is fleeing back to the border because they're like, help us, please, please, help us, please, you know, and we don't know where else to go. And it takes a community to stand up to bullies. And so basically, I think Trump is right for what he's doing in certain situations, but if you have the cartels in place and stuff, don't send them back to Mexico because it's going to be a back and forth situation, back and forth, back and forth, you know. And so I hope that you find the skillful people that you say you need in place, because some of those skillful people that you're looking for, they're very rare. Not too many people go into those degrees. And so, like for example, drug and alcohol treatment specialists, there's a lot of states that have a lot of people that's on drugs, and there's a lot of states that have a lot of people that have that have alcoholism problems or issues. And so when I know sometimes it's the money's not in the budget to pay what they are worth because they are specialists. And so sometimes some specialists are able to work with you. But I know by law sometimes they say, well, you got to pay them what they're worth. And so a lot of people are agree with that. Like they spend some years or short time in school for a certain amount of time, then they feel like, okay, if I'm going to be helping people, I need to make sure that the money that you're paying me, especially in these areas where they have the high amount of people who are on drugs and stuff, and in these situations that they're able to, make it back and forth to work and make sure they have money to, pay their rent. And so that's my opinion on that. If you have a situation in your hand, don't send it back and forth, because all you're doing is escalating and making it worse and worse than what it is. And so our other part of homeless is that's another part. People want to probably know how I feel about that. Well, I gave out a plan um what in my previous AI housing YouTube. I left some information to kind of like help people out. Like you basically have to like get a hold of all the housing around the globe, and basically, let's say for example, in order for this to work, and it doesn't matter what your situation is, we should still be able to place you in housing. But you have to be friends with all your foreigners, and your foreigners got to be friends with you. And you got to get along in order for it to help, in order for it to work. Excuse me. And so basically, let's say for instance, all the people who left Mexico. They left it from gangs, anything cartel. Most females probably left from domestic abuse and stuff like that. And so let's say you guys enter whatever state, which was like you're going to end up in Texas. So Texas has a process center. Let's just say where they process all y'all in one group. So let's say you have a group of people who left Mexico because for um, a domestic situation. So all the domestic females go over here, or domestic male, it doesn't matter, or if you're being abused. And or let's say you have another set of people who's been tormented by gang members. So all the people who's been tormented by gang members go in this section. So we look at a computer like this, and we talk to all the females or men, because men can be abused too. And so basically, you look and say, okay, to get you out of your situation and help you in your situation, where you want to live. So we look in the database, and let's say Jennifer says, and she's from Mexico, and she says she's in a domestic situation, and she's that, and there's proof and everything about it and everything. So basically, we have to hide her because she's high risk. So we look in our computer and print out the papers, give it to her, and we give her her secret location where she's going, and they're gonna have places where they can bus her where she need to go, and how she's gonna get there. And let's say the other ones, okay, y'all are running from gang members or whatever situation that's in your country. So now we have to basically help you. And so we look in our computer. Okay, we don't have a lot of room in the United States. I mean, we don't tell them that, but we be like, okay, we have some room in the United States, but we also have room in Paris and London. So, do you want to go? Do you want to stay in the United States, or do you want to go to London and Paris? So it's up to them if they want to live in the United States, or we transfer them over to Paris and London for their safety. See, certain things should be in place for these certain situations that's occurring in America. Another situation that individuals ask me about is racism. How do we end racism? Well, you can't always control what people think and what sometimes come out of their mouth, but you can just pray for them. But this is how we can end this situation. If you feel like your life as an African American, female or male, there was a plan that was supposed to be in place. But nobody knows what's going on with that plan. I can name the individual, but at the time they said that um, he ended up getting scammed in certain situations. So you all know who that individual was. He was already like setting a plan in place. But there's other people that tried to set that plan in place. Like if you are a black African American, or a black African American male, or a black African American female, you feel like you are in danger, then like if you go on my plan, it probably work. You look up in your computer and move you too, because you have to be able to progress in society. Okay, you can't. it's getting to the point where we have too many people that's gone mental. Okay, we have too many people that's gone mental, and we have to try to organize this out. And you don't have to be just black, to be having racism problem. It can be anybody. It can be Caucasians, it can be Hispanics, it can be anyone. So, like, if you feel like something's wrong in your community or anywhere you are at, speak up, say something, because you you live in this community too. You pay taxes in that community. You work in that community. If you don't say nothing, it affects everybody in the community. There's a lot of places that will not tolerate racism. And I can name a couple of states, and that is one of them is Alaska, and another one is Virginia, and another one is Canada. They will not tolerate racism to no longer. Okay? So if you're one of those individuals that feel like you're being mistreated for whatever reason or whatever's going on in your situation, speak, say something. Because like if you don't say nothing, nobody will know how to help this situation and how to like handle this situation. Like, if you have skillful team of people, like you're gonna move into the economy and set everything in place. You also have to be able to work with people who don't like other people because of the color of their skin. And then a lot of people say our black men are in danger, and most of them flee and leave America. And so, if, like I said, if you feel like your life is in danger, speak up and say something, because you know this type of situation should be resolved. It's like a lot of things can be resolved if the plan is set in place correctly, and then you have to make sure that if an individual is going through this stuff, how can we make sure that they continue, living the life that they need to live in order to progress in society. And it all starts from here: learning, acknowledging information, and gaining the education that you need, because you have to know, you know, yourself too. You have to know yourself. Everything that bothers you. You when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, that's you in the mirror that you see. Every time you wake up in the morning, that's you. So you know everything about you. You know everything that bothers you. Okay? Everything that bothers you. But don't let things in society stop you from getting where you need to get to. If you need your education, get your education, regardless of what other people say. If you need help with education or some suggestions, just ask me. Because I got to the point where I'm like this, a map through everything. And so in this situation, there sometimes you have to find your own way, and sometimes people can help you find your own way. Just sometimes you have to listen, hear them out. They're not trying to. There's a lot of people that's not trying to hurt you or tell you how to live your life. But if they see what you see, as far as racism in America, and then maybe there's another person who got a map for you so you won't go through the same thing that everybody else went through or have not went through yet. They probably have a map for you. Like, hey, I see where you live at. Okay. I've been where you lived at. I lived where you lived at. I know how that is. But when you went through that, I might not have went through that. But I can show you how to maneuver out that area to the part where you get your education, you get you a better place to live, you get um, you know, better resources that you need to help you progress in your community. Okay? So basically, right about now, that's I elaborated on a lot of situations that are happening in our world, and I don't plan on being the president of the United States one day, but it could happen. But well, but I'm just giving you some information that you need, especially young people. Like, don't be scared. Don't be scared of life. Don't be scared to live your life. Cause I know one of my parents. They always talk to me, my sister and brother, about life, and I agree a lot about what he has said. You know, and so when it comes to life, you just have to, you have to educate yourself about life, and and you have to make sure you're equipped to handle. And I know sometimes you've grown and you feel like, dang, why do I always have to call my parents for everything? Even when you're going through the most painful situations that you ain't supposed to, because your parents is the boss. They can come in a situation and everybody be like who's this taking advantage of my children and leading them in a certain situation? Sometimes your parents got to step up and be like, okay, I heard my son or my daughter cry and seem like they need help with life. If you going through just the minimum of life, be thankful. If you feel like your community is not helping you in such and such way, speak up. Because what if another person come in that community and then all of a sudden now it's two of you in the community saying, talking and saying, dang, they really don't help us. They really don't help us. What who do we go to when we move in these communities? Who do we talk to when we move into these communities? And it's okay to talk about how you feel when you live in any community. And I give this advice to people: if it's just you, okay, you're the only one that's the little brownie skinned little girl or the brown skin or the dark skinned girl in your community. You go to work, you do what you're supposed to do, and you go to school, you do what you're supposed to do. And anytime you feel like something ain't right, you take it upon yourself to let somebody know. Because I heard a lot of people who say that there's just not enough black people that's working at this company, or there's not enough black people working at this company. You know, individuals make choices where they want to work at. So if you go to work and you're the only one, just do what you're supposed to do. And if you feel like you don't feel right or don't feel right or comfortable, then you know you can always resign or transfer or quit. But I would advise you not to give up. Don't give up on what you're supposed to do to help yourself. Okay? Don't give up. And that's for the young people too. If you need some direction or some advice, I've been here for a long time. So I can tell you some things and I can help you, maneuver in some different ways to help you. Now, there's a lot of young people out there that's saying, I just want a job where I have some stability. I just have some income coming in. I just have some. There's a lot of jobs that can offer you that. You have to look at the job description and see what you need that can help you. Okay, there's a lot of individuals that don't have strength and what they're trying to a lot of strength in what they're trying to do. So there might, if you feel like you're like the job that you at isn't helping you in your business, maybe it's pushing, giving you strength to let you know there'll be days that if you did work at a grocery store or own a grocery store or nobody came in to work, you might be outside, you know, pushing the carts in. You might be the only one on the job doing the cashier when nobody shows up for work. You might be the only one be at the cascade, then be at the cash register, then be over outside, making sure people get their delivery from your store. You might be the only one. So don't think that the job position that you're in, everybody's targeting you. Like everybody's trying to beat you up and make you seem like the bad person or and no. If you ever thought about owning a grocery store and you a manager and supervisor, oh trust me, if nobody shows up for work, you're gonna be running that whole store by yourself. Okay? So don't ever think that if you work a certain position in a grocery store or do a certain job at any type of business that everyone's picking on you. No one's picking on you. And half of the time, these jobs you picked yourself. These jobs you picked yourself. So if you feel like you want to move up to another job, and then go to your manager and say, hey, I might want to try working in the meat department. I might want to try working as a cashier. I might want to try overnight stocking. I might want to try maintenance. Or I might want to, there's not too many positions, in a grocery store, a bakery. You might want to work in a bakery. But if you choose to be a manager or a supervisor, and one day you might have to run the store by yourself. If your coworkers say, call out and be like, hello, it's Thanksgiving, I'm not coming in. And we get a lot of that. We get a lot of that everywhere. It's Christmas. I want to spend time with my family. I'm not coming in. Or I don't feel good. I ain't gonna make it. Or there's another one. My driveway is snowed in about like a foot or so. I can't get out. You know you can get out. It don't even try it. But you get a lot of that, especially in Alaska. It can happen. Like you can wake up in the morning, you can have a foot of snow in front of your house, and you possibly can't get out. But then you better call somebody to help you get out, or like thankful. I'm thankful I didn't go through that yet either. Okay, and so just look at your area, and if you're in it and get the things that you need in your area, don't always, you know, put yourself down. Lift yourself up and say, I can get where I need to get to. Okay? And sometimes you might need a big brother or a big sister to come and help you out. And like they say, I'm one phone call away. If you need me. Until next time, my name is Shaniki, and I'm going to end this. And, and happy Veterans Day to all the soldiers out there and the ones that are still, working in the military, and to the ones that are retired as well. Because we know even though you're retired, you can also get called back. But um, at least you know that no matter what the situation is, you still have a job for you, even if you're retired. All right. Until next time, good night.